I did a coaching session this morning, and someone was sharing about pain and suffering that they had endured during the last 6 months of their life. I held space because it was important in those moments to allow the body, to allow the soul to have full expression, to acknowledge what emotions had been staying in the body that needed to leave. And I didn't premeditate any type of direction on where I was going to help uplift that person. Instead, I allowed it to unfold. The conversation flowed organically, and then they reached a turning point in the conversation where they started to talk about some exciting things in their life. And there was a confidence shift. That's what I leaned into. Instead of leaning into the pain, I leaned into the confidence shift, and I started to collect the information on what was causing the confidence shift. And I started to see how God was really helping everything to unfold in her life. And it was amazing to see that there was someone that recently came into her life that was like a pilot light and helping her to suddenly feel restoration of the confidence that she needed. She looked at this person who had extreme confidence, and instead of viewing them as being arrogant, she was receiving it in such a positive way, because your perception is your reality. And I was like, if that person would have came into your life 3 months ago with the confidence that they have right now, would you have received it as you're receiving it right now? And she flat out said no. And that's the truth, because sometimes we need to experience certain things in life in order for us to be more open or receptive to the opportunities that are coming our way. And we have to have that ultimate trust. And yes, it is difficult, but if we lead our lives in believing that everything is unfolding as it's meant to, the universe always has our back, and that miracles are always happening for us, and that we trust in the guidance and the way that our life is moving forward, but also being a co-creator in this reality that we call life. That's when we allow ourselves to see the magic. And we shifted the conversation from focusing on pain and suffering and wanting of revenge to suddenly talking about something so much deeper. I asked her, have you done visualization practices? And her answer was no, but she was intrigued. And so we talked about the most optimal time to do visualization practices, because she has a week until this new opportunity starts to bud. And I said, you get 7 days. How incredible is that you get 7 days to lean into this visualization where you see yourself doing all of these different things. And I coached her through and helped her to understand more about like activating the 5 senses in her visualization. I said, you need to anchor it into the body. The brain does not know the difference between imagination and physical reality. And when you put in the 5 senses, oh my goodness, does it become even more of a truth? Because suddenly then your body gets on board with it, because they see it as truth and they know it to be true, right? Because you've already experienced it. Suddenly the things that you see in your visualization, maybe it was a certain coffee you were drinking, a certain color you were wearing, you start to do it too. Why? Because that is the art of becoming. And that is one of the biggest secrets that not enough people talk about with visualization. So if you are trying to anchor in a new reality and you don't know how, visualization is one of the best ways to start. It's not about creating lists. It's not about going back and doing shadow work. It's not about trying to relive your pain. It's about imagining your future. We have done so much. There's so much in our culture that talks about going to the past, reliving the past, reliving the past. What about the future? See, I am here to talk about the future. My whole life, I have focused on being futuristic. And that's because it's what has kept me moving forward. Throughout the traumas, throughout all of the detrimental things that occurred in my life, the future has been what's kept me going, because I get to focus on who I am becoming. So I want you to ask yourself, who am I focusing on becoming? And I want you to visualize that every single day. Take time, take 5 minutes, take 10 minutes, hone in on it, and get really good with it. And watch the magic unfold. Shine on, my friends.